This lesson explains the differences between conventional documents and web pages. You will also learn that web pages comprise of 3 layers. Although this series promises to teach you how to build a Joomla website from scratch, it might seem too basic to begin by discussing what a website actually is. I mean, you wouldn't have made it this far if you didn't know at least the basics of how to use a website. But let's take a quick look at the basics, as this understanding can help you throughout the rest of your web development journey. A website is comprised of one or more web pages. So, what's a web page? Well, in some ways, web pages share characteristics of other documents, such as Microsoft Word. A Word document contains various elements, such as text and images, that are displayed on various parts of a page. There is an underlying programming language that you don't usually see that controls the layout and look of the page. Web pages are considered to be documents, but note the following characteristics. Rich media. Web pages can include media such as audio, video, animation, and interactivity. HTML. The underlying code is written in hypertext markup language. You would never write a Word document using the underlying code, but you can create web pages by writing raw code. Authoring and viewing. Documents, such as those created in a Microsoft Office application, are generally created and viewed using the same software. If you create a spreadsheet in Microsoft Excel, you would usually view that spreadsheet in Excel as well. That's not always true these days, but in general, that's the principle. However, HTML documents, that is, web pages, are viewed in a web browser, such as Microsoft Internet Explorer. With some exceptions, web browsers are not authoring tools. They merely display the web page based on the underlying HTML code. Sharing. A final HTML file can be shared with other users and opened in a web browser. However, because web pages often include some form of interactivity, this is not always possible. Web pages often need to be served via a web server. As such, it is often not possible or impractical to share web pages by sending them as you would with other documents. It's better, or indeed necessary, to place those files on a web server and direct people to the appropriate web address. Believe it or not, a web page is like a 3-layered cake. An entire cake is an awesome sight to behold, but cakes can be divided into slices, and each slice is still useful on its own. And in this analogy, I'm suggesting each slice of cake can comprise of 3 layers. A website is like an entire cake. Websites comprise of web pages, a bit like individual slices of cake. So, a web page is a complete standalone document, but it's part of a bigger picture, the website. Further, web pages have 3 layers, like the 3 layers of our cake. The 3 web page layers start with C, just like cake, and they are content, creative, and code. Content, these are the words, images, and possibly multimedia items that appear on a page. Creative, this is the design aspect of the page, which includes elements like the colours, fonts and layout. Code, the HTML that makes the page work the way it does. When creating a website, you need to decide who will be responsible for creating each layer. The approach I take in this course is that you will create all 3, although don't feel intimidated, as Joomla helps a lot. The main job that falls on your shoulders is the first C, content. You'll need to create the text, images, and any other content elements for each page. The second C is creative. Your website needs a design, and when it comes to Joomla you have 2 choices. You can either obtain a pre-built template from a number of suppliers, or you can engage a designer to create a unique template. This course takes you through the process of finding, choosing, and installing a pre-made template. The last C is the code. The best feature of Joomla is that you don't need an understanding of HTML. Joomla takes care of this for you. However, if you are already a developer and want to tinker with the code, you can do that if you wish. As it's not necessary to learn how to create HTML code, I'll mostly skip any discussion of the code layer. However, if you've never seen what this looks like, you can find out by completing this quick exercise after you finish watching this lesson. Step 1. Open your preferred web browser. I use Google Chrome throughout this course. Step 2. Navigate to a web page such as Amazon.com. Step 3. Hover the cursor over an empty part of the page, that is, some white space that contains no content. Step 4. Right-click and in the resulting menu, choose the option that is labelled something like View Source. That's what it's called in Internet Explorer. In Google Chrome and Firefox, it's View Page Source. This is the code that tells the web browser what to display and how to display it. Aren't you glad you don't need to learn this? That completes the What is a Website lesson, in which you learnt the difference between conventional documents and web pages, and the 3 layers of a web page: content, creative, and code.